everybody, and welcome back to Jeffy and Chihuahua. My name's Jeffy, and this is my best friend, Android the Chihuahua. We are back today to show you guys how to save some soaps that you may have messed up in the past. And this should be a really quick and simple project, and we're going to make some very beautiful new soaps out of some soaps that smell delicious and look okay, but I'll get you guys close up here so you can see how these went wrong. But all of this pink kind of bled into the white. It's supposed to look like the Neapolitan ice cream. And so I really loved these bars. They smell delicious. They smell like strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. So it smells just like the ice cream. But it's just not pretty enough for me to sell anymore. So we're going to shred this down. And then we're going to add a little bit of clear melt and pour around it to form it back into an entirely new project. So this is the soap bar in question, and as you guys can see, that pink really bled out in a way that is not so pretty. The overall bar of soap is still in really good shape though, and I think this will make a beautiful shaved soap melt and pour. I made us a little bit of an equation, that way we know just exactly how much white melt and pour we're going to need at the end of this project. And the first number you're going to want to write down is the total capacity of your mold. We are using this little mold from Brambleberry, and this mold holds exactly 20 ounces of soap. So after you figured out just exactly how many ounces of soap you're going to need at the end, you're going to want to weigh the container you're going to use to shred your soap onto. And today I'm going to be using this cute little plate, so I'm just going to put this on my scale and we'll figure out how much it weighs. So our container weighed about 6.1 ounces. And before that, you're going to want to put an addition sign because when we do our final math, we're going to be adding the 6.1 to the 20. I got this giant grater at the dollar store. I originally wanted a more middle of the road size. This one just had the extra large and the really small. I ended up going with this one just because I didn't want to go to other stores, and I think that this project will turn out pretty good with the large ones. The other day I used the extra small one and I got some really cool frizzles at the top. Alright, so now that we're ready, we're just going to begin shredding all of our pieces. Alright, so this is everything completely shaven down. I used about 3 of my bars. I have 1 bar left. So we're just going to throw this on the scale and get the total weight of everything, our shavings, including the plate. Alright, so now that we have the full amount of our soap shavings and our plate, we can go ahead and add that to our little cheat sheet. And you're going to want to put a negative sign before that because you're going to be subtracting it from the 2 numbers above it. So we're going to take the 20 ounces, add 6.1 ounces, and then subtract 18.1 ounces, and that will give us our total amount that we want for our white or clear melt and pour. And after we calculate all of our math, we see that we need 8 ounces of melt and pour to surround our little shavings in. I realized that my plate is going to be really hard to spray all of our little pieces with alcohol on, so I pulled out a larger bowl. Alright, and I'm just going to dump these into our bowl. Our melt and pour is completely melted. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more scent oil and vanilla color stabilizer. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of this glitter powder. And this glitter is Eco Glitter Powder. You can get this at Brambleberry, or you can just go on Amazon and type in Eco Glitter. You'll find a bunch of them. Right, next I'm just going to give this a really good stir. Alright, I grabbed myself another spoon, and now we're ready to start spraying, and we're just going to spray this with alcohol and give it a nice light toss so we can get the alcohol everywhere. So we're almost ready to start pouring. If you keep stirring it, it'll go down in temperature, and also it won't build any films on the top of it. So this is a really good way to just kind of gently let your soaps cool a little bit before you begin pouring. I've let our melt and pour cool down to about 120 degrees, and now we're ready to begin pouring. The first thing we're going to do is pour a thin layer of our melt and pour soap. Then really quickly we're going to hit that with some alcohol spray, And we're gonna start adding in all of our little chips. Once that looks good to you, you're just gonna pour the rest of your melt and pour over top, and it should. All right, so I smoothed the top out with my little spatula, and now I'm just gonna pour a little bit more of our glitter on top and spread it around so that this top looks a little more interesting. Now we'll just leave this here to cool off, and when we come back, we'll be ready to slice it. So just out of my own curiosity, I shaved up my final bar and put it in those little molds. I want to see what happens if we pour this a little bit hotter. That big one we just did, I poured it a little over 120 degrees and it set up on me really quickly, so hopefully this one will try and pour at 140 and we'll see if it melts our little chips or not. I also did another color just to kind of give you guys an example of what these would look like with a different color in them. So this is our soap that we did a little bit of a hot pour on. I really love the colors, and I love that you can see a little bit of our confetti pieces. This is our large log. I just pulled it out of the mold, and this is actually the bottom. I think it looks a lot cooler than the top because we poured our soap a little bit on the cooler side and the top got a little weird looking, so we added some sprinkles and it looks good, but this side is just so cool. It's really interesting. I can't wait for us to cut into this and see what the inside looks like. And if you're curious, here's our top. Not really much to write home about. So this is our final project. I'm really excited about our final cuts. This sparkly top looks really cool with our crinkle cut. We were also able to get a lot of really cool lines and a lot of sparkle in between all of our lines. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing so I can see you again soon. Bye!